Students, today we are going to talk about the tissue level of organization part 1. In this we are going to talk about the introduction to the tissues and organs and organ systems. And we are going to talk about the animal tissues, which include the simple epithelium, compound epithelium and the glandular epithelium. In multicellular organisms, cells do not operate independently. Instead, they form tight cell communities that live and work together. Individual body cells are specialized, with each type performing specific functions that helps to maintain homeostasis and benefits the body as a whole. Cell specialization is obvious. What is called tissue? How the muscle cell looks and acts differs greatly from skin cells. Cell specialization allows the body to function in coordinated ways. Group of cells that are similar in structure and perform common or related functions are called tissues. Tissues are organized in specific proportions and patterns to form organs like the lungs, heart, stomach, kidneys, ovaries, testes, etc. Hence, the tissues are called the living fabrics. If two or more organs perform common physical and chemical functions, they are called organ systems. Example: digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, excretory system, etc. What is histology? Most organs contain different types of tissues, and their arrangement determines the organ structure and functions. The study of tissues is called histology, which complements the study of gross anatomy. Together, they provide the structural basis for understanding organ physiology. Animal tissues are classified according to the size, shape and function of the cells. There are 4 primary basic tissue types that interweave to form the fabric of the body. They are the epithelial tissue, which form the covering of the body, the connective tissue, which gives the support to the body, and the muscle tissue, which forms movement, and the nervous tissue, which gives control of the body. The classification of animal tissues. Here the tissues are classified into epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue and neural tissue. The epithelial tissue is classified into simple epithelium and compound epithelium. Simple epithelium is made up of squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, ciliated epithelium and pseudostratified epithelium, whereas the compound epithelium is classified into stratified and transitional epithelium. The stratified compound epithelium is further classified into squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium and columnar epithelium. The squamous compound stratified epithelium is again classified into keratinized and non-keratinized tissue. Here in this image, you can see the epithelial tissue, which is present in the skin, and the connective tissue, which is below the skin, the skeletal muscle tissue, which is present in the muscles, the nervous tissue, which is present in the brain and the nervous system, the cardiac muscle tissue, which is present in the heart, and the smooth muscle tissue, which is present in the viscera. Epithelial tissue is a sheet of cells that covers the body surface or lines the body cavity. It occurs in the body as a covering, as a lining epithelium and as glandular epithelium. You can see here the classification of epithelial tissue, which is of 2 types: membranous epithelial tissue and the glandular epithelial tissue. The functions of the epithelium includes protection, absorption, filtration, excretion, secretion and sensory reception. Based on the structural modification of the cells, the epithelial cells or tissues are classified into simple epithelium and compound epithelium or stratified epithelium. Simple epithelium is composed of a single layer of cells. They are found in the organs of absorption, secretion and filtration. Simple epithelial tissue is further classified into squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, ciliated epithelium, which can be columnar or cuboidal, and the columnar epithelium and the pseudostratified epithelium. Squamous epithelium is made up of a single layer of flattened cells with irregular boundaries. They are found in the kidney glomeruli, air sacs of the lungs, lining of the heart, blood vessels and the lymphatic vessels. and are involved in the functions like forming a diffusion boundary and filtration in sites where protection is not important. The right side image, you can see the squamous epithelium which is present on the basal lamina, which has a cell membrane with a nucleus. Cuboidal epithelium is made up of a single layer of cube-like cells. This tissue is commonly found in the kidney tubules, ducts and secretory portions of the small glands and surface of the ovary. Its main functions are secretion and absorption. The right side image, you can see the cube-like cells present on the surface of the basal lamina. They have a cell membrane with the cytoplasm and the central nucleus. Columnar epithelium is composed of a single layer of tall cells with round to oval nuclei at the base. It lines the digestive tract from the stomach to the rectum. The two modifications of this lining are the presence of microvilli on the apical surface of the absorptive cells and the goblet cells which secretes the protective lubricating mucus. The right side image, you can see on the basal lamina, the columnar cells are present with a basal nucleus. The functions of this epithelium include absorption, secretion of mucus, enzymes and other substances. On the right side above image, you can see the columnar epithelium having the microvilli, and in between the columnar epithelium are specialized cells called the goblet cells which secretes the mucus. Below image, you can see finger-like projections from the surface of the columnar cells which form the microvilli. In between the microvilli, the space is called the crypts. If the columnar cells bear cilia on the surface, they are called ciliated epithelium. This ciliated type propels mucus by ciliary actions and it lines the small bronchioles, fallopian tubes and uterus. Non-ciliated type of columnar cells lines most of the digestive tract, gallbladder and the secretory ducts of the glands. Here you can see in the above image the non-ciliated simple columnar epithelium which is present in the gastrointestinal tract. They have microvilli. In between the cells you can see the goblet cells which secrete the mucus. Below you can see the ciliated simple columnar epithelium where the cilia arises from the free surface. Pseudostratified epithelial cells are columnar but unequal in size. Although the epithelium is single layered, yet it appears to be multi-layered because the nuclei lie at different levels in different cells. Hence it is also called pseudostratified epithelium and its functions are protection, secretion and absorption. Ciliated forms line the trachea and the upper respiratory tract. The non-ciliated forms line the epididymis, large ducts of the glands and tracts of male urethra. On the right side above, you can see the non-ciliated pseudostratified epithelium and below you can see the ciliated pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Important epithelial tissue disorders that can occur are eczema, psoriasis, epithelial carcinoma and severe asthma. In this image you can see the sum up of the epithelium, the simple squamous epithelium which lines the air sacs of the lungs, the simple cuboidal epithelium which is present in the kidney, simple columnar epithelium that is present in the viscera, the pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium that lines the respiratory tract and the stratified squamous epithelium which is present in the esophagus. Now let us move on to the compound epithelium. Compound epithelium is made up of more than one layer. They are multi-layered of cells and thus has a limited role in secretion and absorption. The compound epithelia may be stratified and transitional. Their main function is protection against chemical and mechanical stress. On the right side you can see the compound epithelium which is multi-layered. They cover the dry surface of the skin, the moist surface of the buccal cavity, pharynx, inner lining of the ducts of the salivary glands and of pancreatic ducts. There are four types of compound epithelium, namely stratified squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium and transitional epithelium. Stratified squamous epithelium is of two types called the keratinous type which forms the dry epidermis of the skin and the non-keratinous type which forms the moist lining of the esophagus, mouth, conjunctiva of the eyes and vagina. Below image you can see on the left side the non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium on the basal lamina. On the right side you can see the keratinized type of stratified squamous epithelium. Stratified cuboidal epithelium mostly form the ducts of the sweat glands and the mammary glands. Stratified columnar epithelium has limited distribution in the body, found around the lumen of the pharynx, male urethra and the lining of the glandular ducts. In the below image you can see on the left side the stratified columnar epithelium, on the right side the stratified cuboidal epithelium. Now let us move on to the transitional epithelium. Transitional epithelium is found lining the ureters, urinary bladder and part of the urethra. This epithelium allows stretching and is protective in function. On the right side you can see the transitional epithelium cells present on the basal lamina. Now let us move on to the types of cell junctions. All cells of the epithelium are held together with little intercellular material. In most of the animal tissues, specialized junctions provide both structural and functional links between its individual cells. Three types of cell junctions are found in the epithelium and other tissues. These are called as tight, adhering and gap junctions. Tight junctions help to stop substances from leaking across a tissue. Anchoring junctions perform cementing to keep neighboring cells together. Types of anchoring cells or junctions: adhering junction, desmosome and hemidesmosome. Gap junctions facilitate the cells to communicate with each other by connecting the cytoplasm of the adjoining cells for rapid transfer of ions, small molecules and sometimes big molecules. Here you can see in the image the types of cell junctions. The cell junctions can be interlocking junctional proteins. Then anchoring junctions, which are of three types: adhering junctions, which are made up of protein filaments; desmosomes, which have a plug linker protein called the cadherin; and intermediate filament, which has the keratin. And you can see the hemidesmosome, which has linker protein called integrin. And the third is the gap junction, which is a channel between the cells formed by the connections. Other things you can see: the plasma membrane, the intercellular space on the cells placed on the basement membrane. Stratified epithelia are built for protection or to resist abrasion. What are the simple epithelia better at? The simple epithelia are better at absorption, secretion of mucus, enzymes and other substances. What are the differences between simple epithelium and the compound epithelium? Cells are arranged in a single layer, whereas the compound epithelium cells are arranged in multi-layers. Simple epithelium, there is no Malpighian layer. In compound epithelium, they have Malpighian layer. In the simple epithelium, cells do not possess property of division, whereas in compound epithelium, cells possess property of division. In simple epithelium, the examples are squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, ciliated epithelium and pseudostratified epithelium, whereas in compound epithelium there are only two types: stratified and transitional epithelium. Now glandular epithelium. Some of the cuboidal or columnar cells get specialized for secretion alone and are called glandular epithelium. There are mainly of two types: unicellular, consisting of isolated glandular cells like the goblet cells of the alimentary canal, and the multicellular, consisting of the cluster of cells which are present in the salivary gland. Now here you can see the classification of glandular epithelium. The glandular epithelium can be endocrine glands and exocrine glands. In the exocrine glands, they are made up of unicellular or multicellular. Multicellular can be classified based on the structure, made up of simple glands and compound glands. Based on the secretory units: tubular, alveolar or acinar and tubuloalveolar. Based on their mode of function: merocrine, holocrine and apocrine. On the basis of the mode of pouring of the secretions, glands are divided into two categories: exocrine glands and endocrine glands. Exocrine glands secrete mucus, saliva, earwax, oil, milk, digestive enzymes and other cell products. These products are released through ducts or tubes. In the image on the right side, you can see the cells of the glandular epithelium, which form the exocrine gland, which pour the secretions into the lumen and which goes to the surface of the skin. Endocrine glands do not have ducts. Their secretions called hormones are secreted directly into the fluid bathing the gland. On the right side you can see a group of cells present around the blood vessels, and these secrete a substance called the hormone which is released into the blood. The exocrine glands are classified as unicellular glands or goblet glands. In the image below on the left side you can see the unicellular goblet cells which secrete the mucus. On the right side you can see the multicellular salivary glands which pour the secretions into the lumen and onto the surface. Multicellular glands are further classified as simple and compound glands based on their secretory units as tubular, alveolar or acinous and tubulo-alveolar. Based on the mode of secretion, exocrine glands are classified as merocrine, holocrine and apocrine. Here you can see the types of multicellular glands: simple tubular multicellular glands which can be straight, coiled or branched. Compound tubular multicellular glands which are branched. Simple alveolar multicellular glands have a simple tube and an acinus, or they can be branched. In a compound alveolar structure you can see here. Now merocrine glands. In the left side image you can see the product is a fluid that is secreted from the salivary glands, pancreas, sweat glands, and these secretions are called eccrine, and these are poured into the lumen. Apocrine glands, where the cellular product is there, the portions of the cells are secreted, particularly the mammary glands, ceruminous glands. They are pinched off portion of the cells and they come out through the ducts. Holocrine glands, you can see the secretory products where the whole cells disintegrate and come out. Example, the sebaceous glands. The disintegrating cells and its components are the secretions, and new cells are formed by mitosis and cytokinesis. What are the differences between the endocrine glands and the exocrine glands? Endocrine glands are ductless glands. Exocrine glands are glands that have ducts. Endocrine glands secrete the chemical substances called hormones, whereas the exocrine glands secretory products are sweat, enzymes, mucus and sebum. The endocrine glands, the secretory products are released directly into the bloodstream, whereas the exocrine glands release their secretory products to an internal organ or the external surface. The example of endocrine glands: thyroid gland, pituitary gland, adrenal gland, etc. Examples of exocrine glands: esophageal glands, liver, salivary glands, etc. Endocrine glands control the long-term activity of the target organs, whereas endocrine glands, they control the short-term activity. Endocrine glands, the metabolism, growth and development are the main functions of these glands. The exocrine glands, regulation of body temperature is the main function of these glands. Below you can see the images of the endocrine glands and the exocrine glands which have already been discussed. So today in tissue level of organization part 1, we discussed about the introduction to the tissues and organs and the organ systems and the animal tissues like the simple epithelium, compound epithelium and the glandular epithelium. So thank you. Kindly subscribe, like, share and comment to channel readmedprep Academy. Kindly register for UG and PG NEET type MCQs in our website www.readmedprepacademy.com. Our Facebook ID is readmedprep Academy. Our email is readmedprepacademy@gmail.com. Our Instagram is readmedprep Academy. Kindly WhatsApp the number given below to join readmedprep Academy. Kindly post your questions in the comment box regarding the lecture. We will reply with appropriate answers. Thank you very much.